Welcome to the first of a four-part series of video blogs dedicated to the development of Agatha Christie's Dead Man's Folly. I'm Robert Adams, and I'm the executive producer here at Hullabu Inc. Like many, my love of Agatha started during my childhood. I'll never forget my first story, Murder on the Orient Express. It started a lifetime love of detective stories, Poirot, Marple, and the world Agatha created for us to live in. Video blog 1. Making a scene. Making a hidden object scene in Agatha's Dead Man's Folly is comprised of many parts, and getting each part to work in harmony is very important. Little inconsistencies can cause a player to fall out of the world we've created for them. So we spend a lot of time thinking, testing, tweaking, and finalizing those scenes. The components of a scene include the background art, scene art, hidden objects, animations, sound effects, and music. The first thing a player will notice is the artwork. Bright colors will grab your attention first, followed by objects that appear out of place. As the eyes adjust to the first aspects of the scene, the other components, like the sound effects, the animations, and the music, they all start to play a part of your overall sensory experience. After we've decided what the general scene is trying to convey with words, one of our very talented sketching artists will take those words and create the very first version of a scene. This is an artistic interpretation of the design, and it will set the tone for the rest of the development of the scene. Next, we move to the modeling phase. With modeling, we're setting up the core aspects of the scene that will never change throughout the game. In Agatha's Dead Man's Folly, we spent a lot of time making sure each scene would have replayability, which means we really needed to be cautious about how much of the scene was permanent and how much could change from visit to visit. Finally, you want objects defined, right? So, we've placed objects throughout this scene. One would be misinformed to think that we simply spray the scene with objects. Instead, each has to be hand-placed and drawn. Blended into the scene, some objects might appear confusing to your eyes, while other objects might have varying descriptions to create challenge. Once the hidden objects are placed, final touch-ups are created, and you have the final scene art. So, now that the visual aspects of the scene are completed, we're moving on to the sounds. First things first, music. Our original soundtracks are designed for the era, the geographical location, and the premise of the story. You'll notice instruments from the time period, with rhythm and tempo designed around the theme. Next are the sound effects. Here at Hullabu, sound effects are custom created from scene to scene. If there are birds in the trees, you might hear an occasional tweet, while if the wind was blowing, you might hear trees rustling. More importantly though, you wouldn't notice any one of these things if they're properly created and implemented. In fact, in the perfect world, you don't even realize time is going on while you gaze at this beautiful scene and find yourself immersed in it. I hope you enjoyed this first installment of our video blog. Please return next week for part 2 entitled Storytime, where we'll talk about how we take the masterful storytelling of the one and only Agatha Christie and make it an interactive delight. Until then, I'm Robert Adams, gaming guru and Agatha addict at Hullabu. Happy sleuthing!